All right, welcome to this Night Sky Explainer. Consider this your very first real night of stargazing. I'm going to be your astronomical guide this evening, and we're going to figuratively set up our telescope together and learn to read the incredible ancient stories written up there in the stars. If you've ever just stood outside, looked up, and wondered what exactly it was you were looking at, well, you're in the exact right place. We're going to take the vast cosmos and break it down into beautifully simple, easy-to-understand pieces. So, are you ready to dive into this? Because to truly appreciate what's up there, we conceptually have to leave the city behind. Why? Well, city living brings this heavy mix of smoke, dust, and so much artificial light. And unfortunately, all of that human-made clutter acts like this glowing veil that completely hides the universe from our view. So in our minds today, we're traveling far away to a completely dark, wide-open space. Okay, Section 1, Prepping for the Night Sky. Now, the absolute biggest hurdle we face is light pollution. That's just the presence of excessive artificial light at night that severely reduces our ability to actually see the sky. To completely escape this, professional astronomers and really serious stargazers seek out heavily protected areas. For our explainer today, imagine we're standing somewhere inspired by the Hanle Dark Sky Reserve in Ladakh. It is an absolutely mind-blowing, high-altitude spot protected by the Indian Institute of Astrophysics to preserve true, unpolluted darkness. It's like staring into a literal abyss of stars. Let's run through our quick checklist before we start. To get the best view, first, we deliberately choose a moonless night. You know, the moon is beautiful, but its glare will completely wash out the fainter stars. Second, we don't have to guess where things are anymore. Pulling up a digital map on your phone using mobile apps like Stellarium or SkyMap is highly recommended. It's a total game changer for identifying things. And third, we absolutely must give our eyes about 30 minutes in total darkness to adjust. Seriously, just wait. This biological adaptation is crucial if you want to see those faint, distant points of light. Moving right along to Section 2, Constellations, Myths, and Boundaries. Okay, now that our eyes are perfectly adjusted to the dark, just look up. For thousands of years, humans have been connecting the dots and observing these incredible patterns. And they definitely didn't just do it for fun. As this quote highlights, recognizing star patterns was literally a survival skill. Long before GPS or even magnetic compasses, ancient caravans traversing rugged, dangerous regions like Nubra and Ladakh relied entirely on these star patterns to find their way through the dark. The sky was, quite literally, their map. It is super fascinating how different people categorize those patterns. On the one hand, we have this rich local folklore. Like tribes in central India would look at the famous Big Dipper and they saw a grandmother's cot with 3 thieves sneaking away with it. Meanwhile, fishermen down on the Konkan coast looked at the exact same cluster of stars and saw a boat. It's wild how our environment shapes what we see, right? But for modern scientists to communicate globally, they couldn't rely on local stories. They needed standardization. So modern science stepped in, and the International Astronomical Union strictly divided the entire sky into 88 official, unchangeable constellation regions. All right, Section 3, Finding the Pole Star. Let's actually put that ancient navigation history into practice. I'm going to teach you how to find one of the most historically important stars in the Northern Hemisphere. Just follow my finger. First, face north and find that distinct cup shape of the Big Dipper. Got it? Next, look at the 2 bright stars that make up the outer edge of that cup, and draw an imaginary straight line right through them. Finally, extend that line about 5 times that distance. Your eyes are going to land on a star that honestly isn't particularly bright, but it is incredibly special. That is the pole star, also known in India as Dhruva Tara. It appears practically stationary in the sky, making it nature's ultimate compass for finding north. Next up, Section 4, Spotting Planets Among Stars. Okay, look just above the horizon over there. See that bright dot? You'd probably naturally assume that's a star, but actually, it's a planet. So how can we easily tell the difference? Well, it's all about the twinkle. Stars are so incredibly, unimaginably far away that by the time their tiny pinprick of light pierces through Earth's turbulent atmosphere, it gets distorted. That's what causes them to twinkle and shimmer. Planets, though, they're our much closer cosmic neighbors. Because they're closer, they actually appear as tiny disks of light, which allows them to power right through our atmosphere and maintain a really steady, solid, untwinkling glow. The real trick is knowing when and where to look. Take Venus, for instance. It is literally the brightest object in our sky right after the sun and the moon.
If you see this brilliantly steady, non-twinkling light in the west just after dusk or in the east right before dawn, you are looking directly at Venus. It shines so bright that it famously, though actually incorrectly, earned the nickname of the evening star or the morning star.
Let's check out Section 5, Comets and Asteroids.
Aside from the massive planets and those distant stars, our telescope might also catch a glimpse of some nomadic cosmic visitors zipping around. But notice the distinct difference between the two main types. Asteroids are basically giant space rocks, irregularly shaped, dusty, and most of them just hang out together orbiting in a massive belt between Mars and Jupiter. Comets, on the other hand, they are essentially dirty snowballs. They're icy, dusty visitors from the deep, freezing outer solar system. And what makes comets so spectacular is that as they get closer to the heat of the sun, their frozen material literally begins to boil off and evaporate, creating these massive, glowing tails that trail right behind them.
Now, because of their sudden ghost-like appearance and those dramatic tails, comets have a really rich history. Ancient Indian tribes vividly called them Puchatsya Taro, which literally translates to star with a tail. And in so many ancient cultures across the globe, these unpredictable visitors were totally feared as bad omens. But today, thanks to modern science, we know they're simply harmless chunks of ice and rock making their periodic trips around our sun. The most famous one, of course, is Halley's Comet, which swings by to say hello every 76 years. Finally, Section 6, Beyond the Solar System. As we prepare to wrap up our observation session today, I want us to zoom way, way out. We need to truly grasp the staggering scale of what we're looking at. Everything we've discussed so far, the 8 main planets like Venus, the rocky asteroids, the icy comets, our own moon, all of that is just our local solar system. It's basically our immediate cosmic backyard. Every single one of these objects is bound by the gravity of and illuminated by the light of our local star, the sun. But if you look past our local planets on a truly dark, moonless night, you might just see this faint, milky smudge of light stretching all the way from north to south across the sky. That, my friends, is the Milky Way galaxy, beautifully known in Sanskrit as Akashaganga. Our entire solar system, it's just one tiny microscopic speck inside this massive, sprawling structure that contains billions of other stars. And that brings us to the ultimate question. Scientists are constantly pointing incredibly powerful telescopes at those billions of stars in our Milky Way, searching for exoplanets, planets orbiting other suns, just hoping to find a sign of life. Now, we haven't found any yet, but as you step away from our virtual telescope today, I want to leave you with this. Knowing just how impossibly vast the galaxy is, and how many stories are already written in the stars, what mysteries do you think are just waiting out there for you to discover the next time you simply walk outside and look up? Keep that curiosity alive, folks. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy stargazing.